You might think silence is neutral, that saying nothing is better than saying the wrong thing. But to someone waiting for your response, your silence is loud. It echoes like rejection. It stings like dismissal. Ever sent a message only to be met with nothing? The longer you wait, the heavier that silence feels. Your mind starts filling in the blanks. Did I say something wrong? Do they not care? It's human nature. We crave acknowledgement, even if it's just a simple, I hear you. Now, flip it. How often have you been the one holding back? Ignoring a message, postponing a reply, choosing to say nothing because you don't know what to say. Maybe you assume they understand. Maybe you think silence is better than a half-hearted response. But to them, it doesn't feel neutral. It feels like you're closing a door. Stoicism teaches us to be mindful of our impact, even in small things. Words, or the lack of them, have power. A simple acknowledgement can prevent unnecessary pain. You don't need the perfect words, just presence. A short "got it" or "thinking about this" can change the way someone feels. So, take a moment. Look at those unanswered messages, those lingering conversations. Where can you bring clarity instead of confusion, connection instead of doubt? Your silence might not mean rejection to you, but to them, it just might. Think about the last time someone left you in silence. Maybe it was a friend who never texted back, a loved one who pulled away without a word, a job interview that ended with radio silence. It's strange how the absence of words can feel heavier than actual rejection. Because at least with rejection, you know where you stand. This is where mindfulness comes in. Stoicism doesn't tell us to control how others perceive us, but it does tell us to be intentional with our actions. If we value wisdom and kindness, we don't let carelessness create unnecessary pain. We don't leave people hanging just because we're avoiding discomfort. Sometimes we stay silent because we fear confrontation. We don't want to explain. We don't want to commit. We don't want to deal with the responsibility of a response. But silence isn't an escape. It's a message. And more often than not, it's misunderstood. What if, instead, we practiced mindful acknowledgement? A simple, I don't have the right words right now, but I hear you. Or, I need some time to think about this. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something. Because the truth is, no one expects constant engagement. They just want to know they matter. And that doesn't take much, just a few words to replace the weight of silence with the lightness of understanding. Here's the irony. When we stay silent, we often think we're avoiding a problem. But in reality, we're creating one. The mind abhors a vacuum. When people don't hear from you, they don't assume the best. They fill in the gaps with their worst fears. You might think, it's not a big deal. They should know I care. But words are the bridge between intention and understanding. Without them, even the strongest relationships can erode under the weight of doubt. The Stoics teach us that while we can't control how others feel, we can control what we put into the world. We can control whether our silence is thoughtful or neglectful. There's a difference between taking space with clarity and leaving people in the dark. Think of Marcus Aurelius, who wrote to himself daily, reminding himself to act with wisdom and compassion. He knew that ignoring problems never made them disappear. It only let them fester. When we delay communication, we may be choosing comfort for ourselves, but discomfort for someone else. So ask yourself, who in your life is waiting for a response? Whose message sits unread? Whose concerns linger unanswered? You don't have to offer a perfect reply, just an honest one. Even a small effort can change how someone feels, not just about you, but about themselves. Silence can be a form of rejection, or it can be a moment of reflection. The difference is whether you choose to return, and when you do, whether you bring understanding with you. The power of presence isn't just in grand gestures, it's in the small, consistent acts of acknowledgement. A single message, a few words, a moment of attention. These are the things that strengthen bonds, and yet we often underestimate their impact. Think about someone who has made you feel seen, even in passing. A friend who checked in, a mentor who gave you a few words of encouragement, a stranger who offered a kind remark. Those moments stick with us because they remind us we matter. Now consider the opposite, the times when you reached out and were met with silence. The weight of that uncertainty, the way your mind tried to fill in the blanks. It's a feeling that lingers. So what does this mean in practice? It means choosing mindfulness over avoidance. It means recognizing that a delayed response, an ignored message, or an unspoken word isn't just an omission, it's a message in itself. And if we truly value connection, we must ensure that our message isn't one of indifference. The Stoics didn't believe in wasting words, but they also didn't believe in neglect. They understood that clarity, honesty, and presence are virtues. So if you're unsure of what to say that. If you need time, express it. If you care, don't assume they already know. Let them hear it. Because in the end, silence can be a wall or a bridge, and the choice, always, is yours. At its core, mindful Stoicism isn't about speaking more. It's about speaking with intention. It's about recognizing that silence isn't always the neutral choice we think it is. To someone else, it might feel like distance, uncertainty, or even rejection. So, be aware of the weight your silence carries. Don't assume people know your thoughts, express them. A simple acknowledgement can prevent unnecessary pain. A small effort can reinforce a connection. You don't need to have the perfect words. You just need to show up. Because in a world full of unanswered messages and unspoken truths, the act of acknowledging someone, of truly seeing them, can mean more than you realize.